You've heard of generals who conquered armies, but what about the ones who never fought? This is the dark art of winning without war, and why those who play dirty often play smartest. Throughout history, the greatest victories weren't always won on blood-soaked battlefields. Instead, they were often secured in the shadows by brilliant minds who dared to think beyond conventional warfare. These ancient strategists understood a fundamental truth. Sometimes, the most powerful weapon isn't a sword or a spear, but the ability to outsmart your opponent. Imagine a world where battles are won before they even begin, where empires crumble not from siege engines, but from whispered words and carefully planted doubts. This was the realm of the unconventional strategist, the master of manipulation who could topple kingdoms without ever drawing a blade. In ancient China, the legendary Sun Tzu wrote, "The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting." He wasn't just spouting philosophy. He was revealing a secret that would shape the course of history. The greatest leaders understood that true power lay not in brute force, but in the ability to control the game itself. Consider the story of Zhu Zhiliang, the brilliant strategist of the Three Kingdoms period. When faced with an overwhelming enemy force, he didn't reach for his sword. Instead, he sat calmly atop the city walls, playing his lute. The enemy general, convinced this must be an elaborate trap, retreated without a single arrow fired. Zhu Zhiliang had won through sheer psychological warfare, turning his weakness into an illusion of strength. But this art of unconventional power wasn't limited to the East. In ancient Greece, the city-state of Sparta built an empire not just through their fierce warriors, but through their mastery of intimidation. The very name Spartan struck fear into the hearts of their enemies, often causing them to surrender before a single blow was struck. They had weaponized their reputation, turning it into a force more powerful than any army. These ancient minds understood something crucial. The battlefield extends far beyond the clash of swords. It encompasses the hearts and minds of your enemies, the whispers in dark corridors, and the carefully crafted illusions that can make a mouse look like a lion. Take the Roman general Quintus Fabius Maximus, nicknamed the Delayer. When faced with the seemingly invincible Hannibal and his Carthaginian army, Fabius refused to engage in direct combat. Instead, he employed a strategy of attrition, harassing supply lines and avoiding pitched battles. This unconventional approach frustrated Hannibal and slowly sapped the strength of his invasion force. Fabius had turned patience into a weapon, proving that sometimes not fighting is the most powerful strategy of all. But perhaps the most audacious example of unconventional power comes from the world of espionage. In ancient Persia, the assassination of a key general could often accomplish more than an entire military campaign. These shadow warriors understood that a well-placed poison or a carefully crafted lie could topple empires more effectively than any army. The brilliance of these strategies lies in their ability to flip the very concept of power on its head. In a world obsessed with brute force, these ancient minds recognized that true strength often lies in subtlety, in misdirection, and in the ability to make your opponent defeat themselves. Consider the tale of Themistocles, the Athenian leader who faced the might of the Persian Empire. Instead of meeting the massive Persian fleet head-on, he tricked them into fighting in the narrow straits of Salamis. The Persian ships, too large and numerous for the confined space, became sitting ducks for the nimble Greek vessels. Themistocles had turned the enemy's greatest strength, their numbers, into their ultimate weakness. These strategies weren't just clever tricks. They were a fundamental reimagining of what power truly means. In a world where might made right, these ancient strategists proved that the mind could be mightier than the sword. They showed that true victory often comes not from destroying your enemy, but from making them question whether they should fight at all. But make no mistake, this art of unconventional power isn't some relic of the past. Its principles continue to shape our world today, from the boardrooms of multinational corporations to the halls of international diplomacy. The ability to outmaneuver your opponent, to control the narrative, and to win without fighting is as relevant now as it was thousands of years ago. In fact, one could argue that in our interconnected, information-driven world, these skills are more crucial than ever. The battles of today are often fought not with tanks and planes, but with algorithms and viral media campaigns. The ability to shape perception, to influence without force, is the hallmark of true power in the modern age. So the next time you hear of a great victory, look beyond the obvious. Ask yourself, was this truly won on the battlefield or in the minds of those involved? Was it a triumph of brute force or a masterpiece of strategy and manipulation? Remember, history is written by the victors, but the greatest victors are often those who never had to fight at all. They are the ones who understood that true power lies not in the strength of your arm, but in the cunning of your mind. They are the strategists who dared to play dirty, to bend the rules, and to reshape the very nature of conflict itself. In a world that often glorifies direct confrontation, perhaps it's time we learned from these ancient masters. Maybe the key to solving our most pressing problems lies not in force, but in finesse. In the art of winning without war, in the dark and brilliant strategies that have shaped our world for millennia. So the next time you face a seemingly insurmountable challenge, ask yourself, what would those ancient strategists do? How can you flip the board, change the rules, and achieve victory without ever firing a shot? Because in the end, the greatest power isn't the ability to destroy your enemies. It's the ability to make them question why they ever opposed you in the first place. This is the legacy of those brilliant, often ruthless minds who understood that the greatest victories are often invisible. They are the ones who proved, time and time again, that in the game of power, those who play dirty often play smartest.